Hey everyone, Alex back again. Vinyl collection update. I know it's been a minute since I've done one of these. But you guys know how we roll. I want to make sure I listen to everything first before I show it to you and file it away. Um, it's also mainly making sure I've got the correct pressings of stuff on my Discogs, as well as making sure the condition of each record is um, correctly um, logged as well. So it's mainly for my sake as well, but also so I can give you like a proper rundown of each record I show you. But I'm digressing, so let's get into this before I waste any more time talking nonsense. First up, the new album from Teddy Swims, I've Tried Everything But Therapy Part 2, the follow up to his debut album, which was called I've Tried Everything But Therapy Part 1. Do I like this album? Yeah. Do I like it more than his first album? No. There's still some great stuff on here, like the song Bad Dreams, You're Kinda Crazy is a great track on here. There are a couple of tracks I wasn't keen on to start with, but the more I've listened to it, the more they've grown on me. Um, Unlike his last album, which I loved almost straight away from start to finish. But it does mean the next time he puts an album out, I'm not just gonna pre-order any old copy. I mean, the vinyl looks cool on this orange and white kind of, how would you say that? Swirl, splattered vinyl? I don't know, but swirl vinyl, I guess. Really big fan of Teddy Swims. Definitely one of my favorite modern singers. I think he does have a really good voice. But I definitely think after the success of his first album, his labels tried to cash in on him in a way and just bring him to work with a load of pop artists and stuff. I mean, he's got a track with Glorilla on here for some bizarre reason, and he had no features on his first album, which is probably another reason I liked it so much. But still a good album, not taking anything away from it. Just probably, I don't think it's what I expected from his second album, but we'll see. Next up, a couple more new pieces of vinyl here. I'm gonna do a little cover up here. Sorry, Halsey. This is, what's the name of this damn album? If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power. Which I'm not the biggest fan of Halsey. Again, I think she has a great voice, and I love this album. I think it's one of the best albums that she's done in her catalogue, and I've been a bigger fan since this album came out. But I kind of bought it because it was really, really cheap on Amazon. I think less than, with postage, I think less than £8, which is a bargain for anything new. So whether they press too many and Amazon's just trying to sell them up or whatever, I don't know. But it was a cheap album, and I'm super, super happy to have this one on vinyl finally. Really enjoyed listening to this on wax. And yes, that is her actual child on the album cover, in case you're wondering. Sorry, just going to readjust here. That's better. Alright, next album, and this is the last of the new vinyl, and then we move on to secondhand stuff, which is great. But this album here that I'm going to show you is a most wanted for sure. One I've had in my want list for quite some time. I think since I've started collecting vinyl, actually. That's James Brown in the Jungle Groove. This is the 2023 reissue, I believe. Which, as you can imagine, it sounds really good. This is the one that came on, and this is gonna look really cool. This is on clear vinyl, really like crystal clear vinyl. And like I said, the pressing's really good on this. I can't fault it. And for those of you that aren't familiar with this James Brown album, I'm sure you are if you're a fan. But this is more of a collection of tracks that, although it came out in 1986, all the tracks on here were sort of recorded between 1970 and 1971. Yeah. Oh, and there's a track on here recorded in 1969. So all the tracks recorded between 69 and 71. But not released till 86. I don't know if it's because James Brown needed another album on Polydor. I don't know, but it's been a high wants list for me. Original presses do go for quite a bit, I know, just because of the Funky Drummer bonus beat reprise, which is one of the most sampled drum breaks in, not just in hip hop, I don't think. I think it's been used in different types of music as well, but really happy to have that one finally in the collection. Crossing most wanted off my list, that's for sure. Alright, that's it for new vinyl. The next two I'm going to show you is all from one seller on Facebook, and I've bought off him before, so it's not like it's not a trusted seller or anything like that. Stereophonics, Just Enough Education to Perform. Really good album by them. I'm not a massive Stereophonics fan, but again, I'll pick up an album I love when I can find it at a good price, and this was a really good price as well, just on black vinyl. In a custom inner sleeve there. Yeah, if you're not familiar, their track "Have a Nice Day" is the big track on the big song on this album. That's definitely worth listening to. Yeah, enjoyed this album. Can't wait to give it a few more spins, and yeah, happy to have it in the collection. So, yeah, like I said, there's loads of bands out there I'm probably not a massive fan of, but I'll pick up like an album if I really like one album by them, like Stereophonics for example. It's just when I like one track on an album, I'm trying to stay away from that basically. But I'm digressing again. The next thing I picked up from the same seller, Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall. I know this got reissued, I think last year for Record Store Day. I can't remember if it was the main Record Store Day or the Black Friday Record Store Day. They all merge into one at this point for me. But really happy with this one. Again, cover's not great. Vinyl's a little crackly in the quiet parts, which I mean I expect on secondhand vinyl. But this one, anyone who knows it, you're probably thinking the cover looks a bit too glossy, whatever. But if you can see on the label, I don't know if it's going to pick it up. You'll see an SA after the United Artists. I don't know if that's on all of them, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a South African pressing of this album, which I know the guy I bought it off. I think he's originally from South Africa and like moved over here for work and has got into buying and reselling vinyl, so that's sort of his own little business. And I think he either gets records sent over from South Africa or he goes back every so often and brings stuff back with him. I'm not sure what the deal is, but over the moon to finally have a good copy of Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall in the collection there, so cannot wait to keep spinning that one. Right, a few charity shop finds or thrift store / Goodwill if you will, and then we'll move on to some other good stuff. So Tighten Up Volume 5. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tighten Up if you're from outside the UK, but what this is Trojan did a few compilations with some of their artists, kind of a bit like I can't remember the name of him, but you know when a label will do a compilation, put loads of their artists onto one album and release it. That's what they did, and I think they did like 8 or 9 of them. There's a couple of the later ones I've never seen before. Particularly I think 8 and 9. I don't think I've ever seen, but I know they're out there. There might even be a few more, but this isn't volume 5. I don't think I'm going to get all of them because I'm not sure if I'm going to like all of them, but this is definitely one that I'm happy with, so happy to have that in the collection. Really good, a lot of good stuff on there. Next one. This one's going to be interesting to some of you. You might recognise it, some of you might not. You see that? The first great rock and roll festivals of the 70s. So what this is, you can see the artist list there, this is a 3-disc set of the Atlanta Pop Festival and the Isle of Wight Festival. So the first record in this is the Atlanta Pop Festival, which I like, which is cool. It's on the US press, so it's got the round Columbia label, which is cool. And then disc 2 and disc 3 are the Isle of Wight Festival, which is the main reason I picked this up, because on there you've got tracks from Sly and the Family Stone, you've got Jimi Hendrix, you've got a live track from Miles Davis, which is a 17-minute track, but I think the last time that track was on vinyl, the only other time to my knowledge that track was released, I should say, was when the Bitches Brew tapes came out. I think he did it as part of that. I could be wrong. I'm trying to work out how I have this in the sleeve now. Look at that. This is going great for me. I think it was like that. So it's spine out. Yeah, it was like that. So this is not going to be something I spin too often, mainly because there's stuff on here I liked, there's stuff on here I wasn't too keen on, but it's like a nice little thing to have and just own and say, yeah, I got that. It's there. And this is all from like different visits to the charity shop as well. It's not all one trip. But next thing I picked up, some of you might know this one, Dokken, Under Lock and Key. US press, I believe, from what I can work out. But really enjoyed this one. I took a gamble on it because I wasn't too familiar with Dokken. I knew some of their stuff, but I took a gamble on it. Really liked it. So I'm hoping to pick up some more of their stuff, and I'm hoping if some of you know them a bit better than me, that you'll be able to tell me where to go next from here. Obviously there is some ring wear on the vinyl, but I don't mind. The vinyl's nice. I picked up not one, but 2 from Mr. Barry White. This is Let the Music Play and Can't Get Enough. So yeah, pick these up. These are the same trip, by the way, as well as the next 2 I'm going to show you, but I'll get to those. These 2 I had in my old collection. I keep referring to what I call my old collection before I did my big purge and had to get rid of a load of stuff. I had these and I was hoping I could get them back quite easily, but for some reason they've eluded me, and finally picked them up, so happy to have those 2 back in the collection. And the same with these 2. I had these 2 in the old collection and sort of purged them, and because they're cheap albums I thought, oh, I'll be able to get them back easily, and then don't see them. Songs for Swinging Lovers by Frank Sinatra, which is my favourite Frank Sinatra album, by the way, and Come Fly With Me by Frank Sinatra. Now, this one is super crackly. The vinyl looked really clean when I saw it, but it's super crackly. It's fine for a placeholder copy for now, because you can still hear the music. It's just the crackle is prominent and the same level of loudness as the music, so it's a bit of a put off when trying to listen to this album. So like I said, it'll do for now for a placeholder, and I'm hoping to find another copy and sort of make a Franken album. Or even if the cover is better, the cover's got a bit of spine wear. You won't be able to see it that well, or you can actually. But I wanted this cover because this is the original cover. He was facing away from the cover. There's another version of this where he's facing towards the cover. And as much as I wouldn't mind that, I don't know why I prefer this cover. But this was the first Frank Sinatra album I ever owned in my whole collection, so happy to have that, of course. Just a shame it's really crackly. And like I showed you, Come Fly With Me, which if you look at the track listing on this one, this took me a while to find this exact one, because I thought maybe someone had the wrong cover and the wrong album jacket, but turns out there is a version like this. So you've got the last track on there is French Foreign Legion. Now some of them do have French Foreign Legion as the last track on side A, but this one, if you look at the label, can you see that? It happened in Monterey. So I thought maybe someone had like the wrong record in the wrong jacket at first. And after a bit more digging, I found the exact pressing. So turns out there was one that was pressed like this by mistake. Don't know if it was by mistake, but there was one pressed like this. I'm not overly bothered because I know the track listing's wrong, but it might, obviously, it puts people off. But I don't mind. I like Frank Sinatra. I'll pick up his stuff when I find it. And again, had this in the old collection. Over the moon to pick it up. So there we go. Okay, I've got 4 more to show you, and they are all from the pound section at my friend's record store. So I went in there for some singles, which you'll see in the next singles collection video what I picked up from them whenever that video comes out. I'm not sure yet, but this is what I picked up. Now this is the perfect example, and the Frank Sinatra, the Songs for Swinging Lovers I showed you earlier. You can never judge an album just by looking at it. Now this is an 82 repress of Dexys Midnight Runners, Searching for the Soul Children, Searching for the Soul Rebels, sorry. Which to me I think is the better album of the 2 that they put out, their debut. It looks like it wouldn't play very well at all, but it actually plays really well. Like, it looks possibly VG, probably see that, but I need to give it a really good clean, but plays like a VG Plus copy. I mean, it's really good, on the same label of course, so it was going to be a reissue. But like I said, super happy with this. And if you're not familiar with this, their song Gino is on here, which might be my favourite Dexys Midnight Runners track. But yeah, like I said, perfect example of taking a look at a vinyl. And for £1 I took a gamble and it worked out fine, so there's that one. Next we have the soundtrack to Lawrence of Arabia. Not the kind of soundtrack I'd normally pick up, but again, for £1 I wasn't going to leave it behind, especially because I saw this movie for the first time in 2023, really liked it. So not gonna be one I play a whole lot, but just nice to have it in the collection, say I own it, and nice little novelty piece here. So yes, it's a reissue, I don't mind. I've already shown this artist in this video, but here's another one from the godfather of soul, James Brown. This is Gravity, his second album from 1986. This one has more of that 80s production that was prominent at the time. and it's definitely a step away from his funkier stuff and more into the R&B and disco kind of stuff that was big at the time. But this one's still really cool. You've got the title track, which I think is a very underrated song from him. But you've also got a track on here which is Living in America, which for those of you who are fans of the Rocky franchise, used in Rocky 4. So, and I also didn't realise that the track features Stevie Ray Vaughan on guitar. So that was interesting to learn that one. And you've got a track on here which features Alison Moyet, and also a track on here with Steve Winwood. So really happy to have a copy of this. I actually really enjoyed that album. I don't know why I haven't picked it up sooner. I've seen it a couple times, but never grabbed it because I wasn't too familiar with the album. But finally took a gamble, really enjoyed what I heard. So in case you're not familiar with this album, definitely go back and revisit it, because it's not a bad album from James Brown. Just one that may not be in everyone's wheelhouse. And this is kind of the first thing I found in the shop, in the pound section, that made me want to keep digging in there. And once again, had this in my old collection. This is Bee Gees ESP, their album from 1987. Really fantastic album from them. I think You Win Again is a really good single from them. It's not that typical falsetto voices that they had as their actual singing voices that they had at the time. Because again, the Bee Gees adapted to the sound at the time that was popular at the time, and that's one thing I think I liked about them, is as you go from the start of their career and you go through the years, you can see how they evolved and moved with the times. And this one's even the same, like very, I wouldn't say new wavy, more pop for the time, 80s pop. But very good album from the Bee Gees. If you're a fan of them and you're not familiar, maybe again go back and revisit this one, because this was a fun time. Okay guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I really hope you enjoyed. Give it a thumbs up if you did. I've got another collection update coming soon. I've just got to listen to the stuff that I have in that stack still, so that'll come soon, and hopefully another vinyl 7-inch singles collection video is on the way, and I'm not sure what else, but again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.